computer. I'm recording on there.
Okay. I just need to that I'm okay with you recording it.
Are you okay with the recording?
Yeah, it's cool.
All right. Well, let's just get straight into it. Welcome to Iain Lee's Random Access Memories, a retro gaming podcast. This is the first one. I'm a little bit nervous. I've got Scott Balcony here. How are you feeling about this?
I'm really, really nervous, but I'm very grateful for you for asking me to come on.
Well, I tell you why I'm nervous, right? Because this is, I've been doing radio for 20 odd years, and that's easy. But this is different from that because I want this to
be good.
I want this to be good, unlike the majority of my output. But I want this to be more about you and about the game. I want the game to be the star of this show. Okay. Why are you nervous?
Well, it's a nerve-wracking thing, isn't it? Coming on and talking to anyone on being videoed. Terrifying.
Right. So let's set out who you are. I know you because you are a wonderful dear friend of mine, Scott Balcony, musician, artist, shopkeeper, T-shirt designer. Would you use the word disruptor? That's very popular. Are you a disruptor?
I don't know what that means. I think you have to be really successful to be a disruptor.
But you have had success. Because you every now and then you will tap into the zeitgeist and bring out a T-shirt or a hat that captures everyone's imagination. There will be people listening to this who have not heard of you, but will have seen some of your work. I'm thinking of the Lady Hale brooch T-shirt is the first one that springs to mind.
Man. Yeah, the Lady Hale was, I do. So I'm Scott and I've got a shop in Uxbridge and we make T-shirts.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. And we have had a couple of hits, and the Lady Hale one was amazing. That was amazing.
I can't remember who she was, but I know she wore a brooch with a spider on.
She was a judge, and she was ruling over whether Boris Johnson had broken the law when he prorogued Parliament.
Yeah,
and she basically said, "Yeah, you did break the law," and told him off. And she had a black dress on with a sparkly spider brooch on the top corner.
Yeah.
And we always make topical T-shirts, like we do it all the time. And that one, I just went, it'd be good to have the sparkly brooch as a T-shirt. And I put it up on eBay and put some money to charity on it, and just put it up. And it just for whatever reason, and I really genuinely don't understand why that one particularly, but it just went absolutely crazy, and it just went viral. I didn't know, but things can go viral on eBay. Did you know that?
I don't know how that works.
eBay has like what's hot, because it was getting hit so much. It just put that to the top.
Oh wow!
And it got put on the New York Times were tweeting about it, and Vogue were tweeting about it, and all these politicians started tweeting about it. And it went absolutely insane. It was brilliant.
You know, when you start those things and don't know how big they're going to get, and you say, "Oh, this is going to be for charity," when it gets really big, do you regret that?
No, I think the
because you could have been rich
for charity is one of the reasons why it became so big. I think if we just put it up and went, "This is our T-shirt, make us loads of money," people were much more inclined to share it and buy into it, because most of the profits went to charity. Like, we really didn't make very much from that at all.
Yeah.
Like, not when you literally break down how long it took us to make all those T-shirts and all the stuff we had to buy and to do it. But we did make about 25 grand for shelter.
That's brilliant.
From that one T-shirt. So that was brilliant.
Video games, we don't really, because we know each other. We've known each other for about 15 years. Maybe not quite as long as that. When I was doing some stuff.
No, it's longer than that, because we knew you before we had the shop.
Right.
And we've had the shop for 15 years. Okay. So yeah, it must be at least.
Was the first time you got in touch when I was doing the stuff for Great Ormond Street? Listen to us, not boasting about our charity work.
Don't like to talk about it.
I was looking for prizes to give to kids, and you sent me a load of excellent T-shirts.
Yes. Well, I was a fan. I'm a fan of yours. I was, and still am a huge fan of yours. So when you said, "Have you got any prizes?" We literally had boxes of T-shirts lying around, and we were like, "Well, let's send him some T-shirts." So yeah, and yeah, but that was the first contact we made with you.
Now
I made with you.
We have a running joke whenever I talk about video games online. You always bring up Minder on the ZX Spectrum. Is it Minder on the ZX Spectrum? Are you going to be playing Minder on the ZX Spectrum? Right?
Always.
And first of all, I'd never heard of this game. I'm aware of Minder, and we'll explain what it is in a bit. But also, when I think of someone who's played video games in their life, I don't think of you. So I was surprised that you were a gamer as a kid.
I was a huge Spectrum fan. Absolutely insane. The rubber keys, and then the 128K with the built-in cassette player. And then I wanted an Amiga. Right. Because the Amiga was the cool one. But my mum and dad wouldn't get me an Amiga because they were so expensive. But they were like 500 quid in the late 80s. It was like mental. So I kind of got the hump and used to go around my mates and play his Amiga. And I didn't play at home until probably the Mega Drive came out. And then I was banging again for a while. And I kind of dip in and out. And then I got big into the Sega Dreamcast and Shenmue and all that.
Were you a Dreamcast fan?
Yeah, I had Dreamcast, loads of that. Choo Choo Rocket.
Hang on a minute. Let me unplug this. Here's my trusty Dreamcast. Look at that.
Oh, yeah, that was it. And Choo Choo Rocket on the Dreamcast was the first online game, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, it was, that and Fantasy Star Online. Oh, no, Choo Choo. I played Choo Choo Rocket with my boys a few years ago.
Oh, really?
They like Fortnite and Valorant and all of those in VR.
Yeah.
But we played Choo Choo Rocket and they were bang up for it. It's too fast for me, a 50-year-old man. But for,
you know. When I used to play it, it was on dial-up. And it just didn't work. It just didn't work well enough. Maybe if I played it now, it was all quick, it would be good.
So, and bizarre, and I've never heard anyone else talk about Minder the game. And bizarrely, in the last month,
it's become cool.
It's come up about 4 or 5 times, completely at random, from different people talking about the game.
I know. Well, so when I was about 5, the Spectrum rubber key came out, right? Okay. And I've got an older brother who's 10 years older than me.
Yeah,
he got it. He got the rubber key Spectrum, and so as I grew up, I was always playing it. You know, I could always on a black and white telly in our shared bedroom. Yeah, would play this game. Would play. But he had a shoe, and I don't know where this shoebox came from, but we had a shoebox just full of knockoff Spectrum games, like tape, because you could just tape them tape to tape, couldn't you? Just record them. So I don't know where this box came from. He says, like, trying not to incriminate anyone.
I don't think you're going to get done for pirating Spectrum games 40 odd years ago. I think you're going to be safe.
There was a box of these games, and we had all of those early Spectrum games, like Horace Goes Skiing, Horace and the Spiders, and Jet Set Willy, Manic Mike, all of those, that sort of era. But they were all no instructions, just cassettes with the name of the game written on.
Yeah.
And one of them was Minder, and everyone loved Minder, didn't they?
Everyone loved Minder. Well, let me just explain so Minder for Americans and young people was a TV show with Dennis Waterman as Terry. Who played Arthur Daly?
George Cole.
George Cole.
It was like an edgy Only Fools and Horses.
Yeah, it was. And the first series, I think, was quite adult. And they were like, there's nudity in it. And then after that, it became a little bit of a sort of comedy. I remember we had the first video recorder in my school, right? It was in my house. It was a Betamax. And it was, here are the confessions, it was stolen. We had to hide it behind the sofa and we weren't allowed to tell anyone we had it. And my mum, when I must have been 9, would tape Minder, and then me and my sister would come down in the morning and watch Minder while we were having our breakfast.
It holds up, a lot better than most TV from that era. Right. I think it holds up. It's brilliant. Well, George Cole is like a fantastic actor. and it is really funny, and it's a bit, some of it is inappropriate nowadays, but it's not too bad. It's not as bad as some things.
You know, I met Arthur Daly, and I mean I met Arthur
Really?
Daly, not George Cole. They were filming when I used to live in Farnham Common near Slough. They were filming at Burnham Beeches, and
Yeah.
I was doing my Duke of Edinburgh's, and part of that was to help out the wardens at Burnham Beeches, and they came and filmed a bit, and
Yeah.
I was stood next to George Cole in all of the gear, and I'm sort of 15 years old thinking, oh my God, this is, I literally stood next to him, and he turned to me and said, beautiful weather for cricket, isn't it? I don't know. I went, yes, it is. And that was it. But he was in, God, I wish I had a picture. He was in full Arthur Daly mode. It was beautiful.
He was brilliant. But you're right. The early series, he was like a criminal, like a proper criminal, and a bit sort of edgy. And as it got older, they softened his character and made him a bit more sort of hapless and silly. But I loved Minder. Anyway, so this cassette had Minder on it. And I was like, I'm going to, this is going to be great.
Yeah.
And put it in, load it up, and you get that screen. You played it the other day, didn't you? You get the screen where it blares the theme tune at just the most ear-shattering volume.
The Spectrum does not have the greatest sound, and it screams it at you, and you think, okay, well, that's just the opening. But it does it like every few minutes in the game.
Every time you go anywhere.
Yeah. But so go on.
Well, I would play it and I would load it up, and I had no instructions, right? And I was probably 7 or 8.
Okay.
But because I knew the characters and I knew it was obvious the idea of the game, because people would approach you and try and sell you stuff. So it was obvious the idea of the game. And just through trial and error, I kind of worked out how to play it. Well, I did work out how to play it and would play it endlessly. And what I found so fascinating with it is you could talk to it. So I think in 85, how basic the games were.
Yeah.
Is you could actually have back and forth with the characters on the screen. It was insane. Normally
games, you type in 2 words, go north, get axe. Yeah. But you're having like proper conversations with them.
Proper conversations is probably a stretch.
Okay. Oh, Scott, we just lost you. We've lost you.
But you could definitely,
Scott,
proper conversation. Yeah.
Oh, we've lost. You're back. Go on. Proper conversations were a stretch. Okay, I'll give you that.
But you could have back and forth with them. And what I found fascinating, as quite a naughty child, you could swear at the people in it.
Right.
And they would swear back at you and then punch you and things like that. It was like they understood the swear words.
So it's a trading game. You're Arthur Daly and you're buying, stolen knockoff goods, and you're trying to sell them for a profit.
Yeah.
And Terry is there to help you. Some of it is quite rude. I saw what you met one guy in the Winchester and he goes, I've got, I tell you what, I've got for you cock. I've got a lot of cock and balls. But he was talking about plumbing. Yes. But it's quite in your face.
It's an adult themed game. I think.
Adult themed, yes.
It is. And that, as an 8-year-old, that just captivated me because it just seemed a bit naughty. I worked out, and I can't believe that I worked out what to say to them because it's very specific. You have to say, there's like a whole language, a Minder language that you have to use in that game.
I'm trying to find some of the stuff because I played it, and you have to. I watched
you play,
and you sent me a lot of abusive messages going, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're
frustrating." It was so frustrating. It was some of the most frustrating radio I've ever heard.
Right. Well, but you have to type in very specific phrases. Like you can ask Terry to dump some gear or collect. I think tablecloths, I think, is one of them. Collect tablecloths, but you have to be very, very specific. And I had to do it with an online guide. I could not have worked it out on my own.
You have to go. So you basically you go to the Winchester. Someone will come up to you and say, "Do you want any black and white TVs?"
Yeah,
and you buy them. You say, "I'll give you 50 quid," and they say, and then you haggle. And they go back and forth, and then you say it's a deal. And then they ask you how many you want, and you buy them. But then you have to go to Terry. You have to find Terry,
the Minder,
and you go, Terry, collect tellies.
I didn't know this.
TVs. just like that. And then he goes, "Oh, okay, there's a drink in it for me, is there?" And you go, "Yeah." And then he goes off, and then he goes off and gets them, and then the tellies appear in your inventory.
I was asking Terry to mind me. What do you want,
Yeah,
Arthur? I want minding. Okay, that's a ton a day, 100 quid a day.
yeah.
But apparently, I'm not supposed to do
You
that.
don't need to. You don't. I didn't know you could. He would mind you. All I
He's
knew that
minder.
if you were in Winchester, if you were in the Winchester Club,
Yeah.
and told someone to, a rude word, and Terry was in one of those little windows, so Terry was in there too.
Okay.
They would go, "All right, well, you're lucky you're paid monkeys here, and I'm not going to
Oh,
do anything." And they go. So he does mind you. So you can only really be rude to people when Terry's about.
I think as well, when I had Terry with me, the Chisholm, the
Yeah,
copper, didn't turn up at the lockup if Terry was with me.
yeah.
I think that
Yeah, he
happened.
does kind of give you a free pass, Terry.
I read online. I don't know if this is true. If it happened to you, that in the game sometimes you get a character who says, I don't like playing with you," and then turns the game off.
No, you sometimes if you sell something to someone and it turns out to be dodgy or not working or whatever they come up to you and they punch you. And it's this, you just get this
Whoa.
fist, just this like 8-bit graphic of a fist just doing that up to the screen, and then you spend 5 days in hospital.
And you don't, but there's not a mode where it turns the game off and goes back to the Sinclair blank screen.
No, not that. No, I don't
Okay.
remember that ever happening. No.
So this came out in June 1985. You're
Yeah.
wearing the DK Tronics.
So this is DK Tronics who made the game, and you used to make a lot of those really early, simple Spectrum games.
I think Minder finished them. I think because it was a big flop. I was looking online. Crash Magazine gave it 75%.
That's
And
very good.
a lot of the reviews said it's too difficult.
It's too complicated.
And I think it killed them. I wonder if they paid for the license, because back in then it was like the Wild West. You'd get all these Donkey Kong and Pac-Man and, like, I don't know, Terminator games where they hadn't licensed it.
Well, I was looking up Ductronics to make my T-shirt.
Is that how you pronounce it, Ductronics?
Well, it must be. It's DK. Surely it's DK-tronics, isn't it? But as a kid, it was Ductronics. Doesn't make any sense, does it? But and no, you're right. I couldn't see any big games, but they used to make like the little connection. I think they made the printer. You know, the ZX Spectrum printer that had the silver paper.
Yeah,
I think they made that kind of stuff as well. But yeah, no, it's such a weird game, Minder, and that's because I was so obsessed with it. I would pretend to be sick.
You told me this. This is wild.
Me off school.
So, but you had a whole routine of how you pretended to be sick. You went to extreme lengths.
Well, my mum would not let you be off sick. Like you'd have to be really, really ill for her to let you stay off school.
Yeah.
So I used to set my little Casio watch alarm for like 3 a.m, wrap it up in clothes so it wouldn't be too loud to wake anyone else up.
Yeah.
Put it under my pillow. It's 3 a.m, wake up, then I go in the bathroom and I'd like slap my face and put water on my face and just make myself look a state, and then go into my mum's room and go, I'm so ill. I've just been sick. And then she would go, okay. And then you could get the day off the next day, right?
Yeah.
So I would do that. And then I would just get up and I would make like a nest around myself.
Yeah.
With duvets and sit on a black and white telly and just go, right, I've got the whole day to play Minder. And you can play a game of Minder will take you a day.
Yeah.
Because what you were doing, you were waiting for people, weren't you? You know, you were like refreshing. Wait.
Yeah.
You were wasting whole days.
Oh, okay.
Well, time is money.
You got furious with me because there is a clock and I didn't quite understand, well, the concept of time and days. And you were messaging me as you were watching back the playing. And if you're watching the video of this, it's going to be in the corner so you can see me playing it. And going, you're waiting outside a dealer's at 2 o'clock in the morning. Of course he's not going to be there.
You were going, I'm going to go and try and sell these TVs to a dealer. Yeah, and it was like 10:30 at night. I'm like, what are you doing?
It is a very frustrating game. I've looked online on eBay. The cheapest is £25, but that's without the manual. They're all
Wow.
about 37 quid. They're about 40 quid for it, which seems a lot for an on Spectrum game.
Well, that game, we saw a version for 50 quid, didn't we?
Yeah.
Just the cassette without the box.
Yeah. There it is. I can see it now. Yeah, 50 quid. Buy it now. Can't even make an offer. It's a buy it now to buy Minder.
I don't know how you'd play it without if you didn't know anything about it. If you just came to it, I just don't know how you'd play. I don't know. I thought you did really well considering you didn't have. Well, did you have
I had some cheats online. I was reading. There is a website, Minder.org, that is dedicated to the game.
No.
Yeah.
It was massive. It was massive. And at the end, when you get to the end, because you'd have to do like a month, it would take you have like a month of days. So you could like accrue loads of money, and then depending on how much money you made, Arthur Daly comes at the end. Well, he told you in no uncertain terms what he thought of your...
At the end I did so badly, and I was shocked to. I'm not even going to say in this podcast. Watch the video, but he did say that I should do myself quite serious harm, which was like a whoa.
No, well, that was what I got for the first 50 times of playing it, and then eventually when you get better, and then in the end he's like going, "I'm going to retire." You're brilliant at this. This is this, and then it's like that actually was one of the best moments of my life when he said that at that age.
I'm just checking. Minder.org isn't just about the video game, which also came out on the Amstrad and the MSX. There was a version for the Commodore 64, but it never got released.
Yeah.
Minder.org is about Minder, and I'm just seeing there's a Minder podcast.
Well, you know what my favourite Minder fact is?
Go on.
So Dennis Waterman, the classic theme tune, Dennis Waterman.
It is a great song, that.
Yeah, and it's the write the theme tune, sing the theme tune.
Yeah.
He didn't write that. His wife did. Patricia Waterman.
Really?
I Could Be So Good For You. Yeah.
It is.
Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing. It's a great song. It's like a sort of rocking, brassy soul song.
It's got a bit of slap bass.
Yeah.
Bow, bow, bow.
And I remember. Go on.
I was listening to it today.
I remember thinking it was weird. He'd be on top of the pops in like all his open neck denim shirt and stuff. Yeah. Remember, he had Dennis Waterman had a beard for quite a while, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. I honestly thought he was like my B.A. Baracus. I thought he was like the hardest bloke in the world.
I wonder if anyone dresses up as the Minder that would be a great thing for someone to dress up as the Minder and their partner to dress up as Arthur Daly for a Halloween thing. That would be awesome. Of course, there were other Minders. I'm assuming Minder for You stopped when Dennis left.
Not having it.
There was his nephew. Like it was like when the Dukes of Hazzard left and their cousins came in. His nephew came in.
They always try it with these things, and it just never works. No. Never works.
When was the last time you played it?
Well, I played a simulator.
Oh, did you for this?
When you said you were telling me about this, and I played the simulator.
Yeah.
And you were saying it was really buggy, and it was really buggy. It just kept like knocking me out. But the one you played looked like it was pretty good.
Yeah, I found one. I found one that I managed to get to work. There are online emulators. They're a little bit glitchy. I think I have got downloaded a Spectrum emulator.
I'm sure the emulator bit I played, it just didn't work the same as the actual game.
Or you might be rubbish at it now. I don't know if that's.
It has been 35 years.
Do you? When was the last time you played a video game?
Oh, I played Mario Kart 8 yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, I played on the
Switch. The Switch.
Yeah, and Animal Crossing.
I struggle with Animal Crossing.
Yeah,
although during lockdown, my youngest, who would have been like 8. Like a lot of people, not just kids, got really, really into Animal Crossing, and I don't like it. I find it a little bit dry.
My daughter is obsessed with Animal Crossing. She absolutely loves it.
Kim was totally into it, and he kept saying, "Daddy, do you?" And I made an avatar. He said, "Do you want to come to my island?" And I was a bit reluctant, But looking back, I wish I'd gone to his island more. I only went a couple of times. I wish I'd gone back because that moment has gone. And now he's a young man. He's 11 and a half. And he doesn't want his dad on his island. Doesn't even want to go to the island. He wants to kill people in Roblox.
Is that way? Yeah, my son Stanley, he's kind of just grown out of all the sort of Roblox and Minecraft and all that, but he used to play that. I mean, Roblox is brilliant because it is like it's millions of games, isn't it?
Yeah, and Kim kind of grew out of it, but he's gone back into it in a sort of ironic, I'm gonna troll everybody way, which is not a great attitude to have towards video games.
What was the last video game you played?
What was the last video game I played? I'm playing Mass Effect 2, and what was I tell you what I played. There's a game called A Way Out, right, which is a prison escape game. It's 2 players, and you can play it remotely.
Oh, it sounds great.
It's brilliant, right? And again, I was playing it with my. I shouldn't say this, but I was playing it with my youngest, right? It has got the worst language. It doesn't have the worst language, but everything below that is in there. And he was playing at his house, and I said, "Dude, you've got to turn the subtitles off because if anyone have your headphones on and turn this, because if anyone comes in, I'm dead. I'm never seeing you again. This is going to social services." And it was that thing. I don't know if I can't remember how old your kids are, but I don't know if you've ever watched something with them, and you get to like the 3rd or 4th F-bomb, and you go, we're in now. We might as well stick with it."
I went to see Jeff Lewis. So you've heard of him? He's like a singer, like indie singer. Went to an all-day festival and was like, let's go and see Jeff Lewis. He's brilliant, with my 8-year-old daughter, and we're all there. And one of his songs, which I didn't know, it wasn't like a song that he's obviously just written it. The chorus was just the second worst word shouted all the way through it, and it was like, the first time he said it, I was like, maybe she missed that. And then the second time he said it, she's like looking up at me. And the third time, I'm like, just crack on. And now all she does is hum that song to me.
Well, at least she's humming it
without saying the words.
And you have to hope she's not singing it at school. That would be.
I don't.
So what did you think? To wrap this up, you went and played it, and you played a slightly buggy version. Was it as good as you remembered? Did it live up to what was going on in your brain when you think about
it? It doesn't live up to it because you can't, like, you got Chat GPT and things like that, and you can have conversations with the computer. The thing that was so amazing about it as a kid was thinking you were talking to a computer and it was talking back to you. That was just like mind-blowing, I thought, at the time. And look, I think if you pitch that game against other games from 1985, it was pretty advanced.
Yeah,
like really advanced. But it maybe doesn't hold up the magical things. But everyone is talking about it. Like you're saying, like 4 or 5 mentions of Minder on the spectrum. Why? Why does that happen?
I found it really, really frustrating, and it peed me off. But I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it, and I can imagine if I'd have got my hands on that when I was like 11, I'd have been all over it. I like those kind of trading games. That was my favorite.
Well, you need your own little notebook, and you'd write down what you bought and how much you paid for it. It's brilliant. It's brilliant, and it's adult. And Chisholm's in it. One of the greatest TV detectives of all time.
Because they have pictures of like the characters, and they really look like the characters. How do they do that?
I don't know. 8-bit art, and it's like proper, just literally black pixels within in that little grey box, and you can tell, like Terry McCann, you can spot him a mile off. I
got really excited when I haven't seen Minder for years and years, and when Chisholm popped up, well, it's Chisholm straight away, and I can't remember the barman's name, but he's Dave. It's like, it's Dave, and you can tell it straight away.
I know. I don't know how they've done that. It's amazing.
Scott, we were nervous, but we made it through to the other side. Thank you for that.
It's been lovely to reminisce.
People want to come and check out your shirts and your other bibs and bobs. Where do they go?
They go to balconyshirts.co.uk.
Yeah.
And that's the website. You can do all. Yeah, there's t-shirts you can buy, or you can design your own, that sort of stuff. And then we got a shop in Uxbridge, which is Balcony Shirts, which does much the same thing, really.
Are people allowed in your shop? Because you stopped having customers come in for a bit.
Well, after COVID, where we had to shut for ages, and then we opened, then we shut. Then when after COVID, no one would come in; they would just ring, and it was like, this seems silly having a shop where no one comes in.
Yeah.
Where you have to man it from 9 to 5 like every day. And we were still getting the work. Thankfully, people would just email or call. But now we have opened again, so now people can come in.
Good. It's nice to see you, man. Thank you so much for your time.
Bless you. Good luck with this podcast. That's so lovely of you to have me on, and good luck with it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Cheers, dude.
Ciao,
Bye-bye.
ciao, ciao.